We are live. I had a bit of technical difficulties, but before we get started, I need to share the slide deck. That would be helpful. So, all right. So we know that there's a lot going on in the world, but this is our happy place, our safe space. And I'm delighted to be here with you and the amazing, the wonderful C.C. McInnes. How are you today?
I'm vertical, like my granddaddy says. When I get horizontal is when I worry about it. How y'all doing today?
That's right. All right. So we got Andre Staley first in the chat. What up, though? We have Boombox Guru. Hey, Purple family. I hope everyone is having a great weekend. Love that. Kim already timekeeping. I love that. Cassandra Bradley is back in the gym. Cardio for the heart and strengthening for muscles, and Prince music for the soul. Love that, Cassandra. I understand. Trying to type while you're on a treadmill. That's what I'm talking about. Multitasking.
See, look, she better than me because when I'm on the treadmill, I don't want to do nothing but get off. So shout out to you, Sister Bradley, because when I'm on it, all I'm thinking about is it ain't a mile yet. So you a real one.
That's right. And April Watson is going to be catching us on the replays, but thank you for stopping by once you watch it. And we got Rockabosh feeling like today is one of them ones. Everything is fair game today. I love this, Rockabosh. I love this popcorn and drinks on deck. That's what I'm talking about. Popcorn, I could live off of popcorn. I got to stop eating so much popcorn. I eat it almost every day. And we got Vincente Peoples, Saturday Greetings family.
Popcorn was my elementary delicacy, especially. And I know part of it is not your interest, but so it was a lot of sports in my life in elementary. And there was nothing better than that buttery popcorn at the basketball game. Like I'm convinced half of the gym was there. And they put it in there. You put it in the little, remember the little brown bags that be like the little small.
Yeah.
And the popcorn would soak through the bag.
Yes, and get on your clothes.
Yes.
Yeah, I know all about that, C. Lee.
So I have loved popcorn since then. So I'm with you.
Yes, and now they have all this gourmet popcorn. So yeah, for sure. All right, so we got Love Sexy 71 joining us. We got Chanel joining us. We got El DeBar, who's finishing up painting a wall and will be with us shortly.
What's it called? What's the wall that's the different color? The
accent wall.
Yeah, is it the accent wall? Let us know. Let us know as you accenting up in there. Go ahead on. All right.
That's right. Or are you color drenching?
There you go. Look at that. That's all my HGTV knowledge right there. Don't ask me that.
Oh my God. Don't get me started. I am an HGTV fanatic. And my aunt just doesn't understand it. But me and my cousin, her daughter, were just obsessed with HGTV. Because you get all the tips and tricks and possibilities.
You know what got me? And I wasn't. But when Monica and I back in 2005 was searching for a house, and we actually looked for a house for 18 months. That's a whole nother story.
Oh my God.
It was 18. You know how hard that is. We did it for 18 whole months at HGTV. And my favorite one, the show was, and I know we get the title wrong, but it's, I think, How Much You Get for the Money.
Okay.
And what they would do is they would take 3 properties from 3 different places in the country. So like it'd be like, so what does $200,000 get you in New York? I learned not a damn lot. What does $200,000 get you in Denver? Not a damn. And then one time we were so happy. It was, what did $200,000 get you in Brandon, Mississippi? I started jumping up and down. I'm like, oh, Mississippi's on. So yeah, so that was my, so anybody, if you ever watched How Much You Get for the Money, that was like my favorite HGTV show. Because like you said, you get the tips and you start, and then all it did for me was, like I said, you know what? We got a lot of problems in Mississippi, but it's cheap as hell to stay here. So that's what I fell in love with. So all right, go ahead.
All right. So El DeBar says, outside wall, stop delaying me. And we got Jesse in the house. I love this. Happy Saturday, beautiful purple politicians. doing yard work in my backyard, but listening through my headphones. You and Cassandra just multitasking.
And I got to do it. I got to do it. I wish that I had Jesse's hair. I wish I had Jesse's hair. All right, we go on. Go ahead.
Everybody wishes they had Jesse's hair because Jesse's hair is on point.
Yes.
And we got Ron Kayla, we got Audria, we got El Michelle, we got Purple Cat Confetti with my newly adopted kitty honey. Okay. And she likes Prince Vinyl Time. I love that. And we got Freak Tech. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. And I absolutely love this from Man Ray Tim. My vice isn't popcorn with butter. It's butter with some popcorn. Man Ray, you are speaking my language.
Hey, Prof Duff and Man Ray Tim, let me ask y'all a question. Are y'all the jerk like me? When you go to the movie theater, you make them say, hey, fill my bucket up with half popcorn, then put some butter on there, and then put some more popcorn on there. I match it.
Yes, yes. I used to do that when I was younger. I've been trying to be more low maintenance, so I haven't done it recently. But if I could, I used to, and I would for sure. And let's see, we've missed some people. We got Chris Bournet in the house. We got Christina Schlosser from Minneapolis. We got Mooches with Vanity. We got D68A. We got Theo and we got Lisa Williams. We got TP Libra. Oh my God, what happened? And we have Sister Charles, and we got Nick Felden from Denver. Why did Prince not continuing letting Maserati be an opening act for him on the hit and run shows? That's a good question. That is something only Prince can answer, I think.
Yeah, call up Sir Casey Terry. Call up Sir Casey Terry and find out. Wait a minute, is it Sir Casey Terry or Tater Terry here? Casey.
I always get them switched myself because it's like two first names. And I'm really bad like when that happens. And Reggie is super happy that C. Lee is here. Not as happy as I am, though, Reggie. So just so you know.
Appreciate you, brother Reggie.
And we got RTL 49. It's a rainy day in Chicago. I'm glad it's not raining in New York. I hope that we had some rain the past couple of days, little sprinkles here and there.
I thought you were going to bring out that rain tonight in Georgia. Feel like it's raining all over the world.
No, so am I. All right. So thinking about that Maserati question, that's pretty funny. I'm late. I was busy arguing with Warner Brothers about the Michael Dean box set. I don't know about the Michael Dean box set. I haven't been on the socials, so you got to fill me in. And okay, Theo is liking C. Lee's shirt today.
Appreciate you. Thank you, sir.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Okay, and D68A is filling us in on Olivia visited Paisley Park. I don't know who Olivia Dean is. I'm bad, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know who she is, but they posted her. I guess she performed in Minneapolis, and they posted her doing a Prince cover. I want to say she did I Want to Be Your Lover, but I was like you, I didn't know who she was, but yeah, they've been posting about her cover doing her show. So she must be a singer that a lot of folks know.
All right. So Reggie is talking about you, C. Lee, doing an imitation of you about a year ago privately to Michael Dean. He was in tears. Oh my God. Okay. All right. So, one of the things I wanted to say about the Maserati question, I have a strange feeling. I mean, I'm just, whatever, making this up, but particularly during this period, well, before this period, but maybe Prince was opening up. Before this period, Prince had very few words, when he was dealing with people. So I can imagine where if he had a conversation about them opening or not opening, it was like very few words, or maybe none at all. You just weren't on the bill. I don't know. I don't think that was like a conversation, well, Maserati, I've been thinking, and I don't think that happened, but I could be wrong.
I know. I will, again, take this for what you want. 18 months, he was Mr. Chatty. And then after 18 months, nothing. Like you talk about feeling ghosted. Like I didn't even know what the term ghosted meant. So I guess my services are no longer needed. No more emails, no more nothing. So
okay, so Chris Bournet is out there. So normally I've been to the Ohio State Fair the past couple of years. I'm not coming this year because last year Morris Day and the Time performed. And that was my last time seeing Jelly Bean Johnson perform live. So I'm so happy that my family, it was me, my mom, my sister, and my aunt too. So we had a blast. We had on our 7779311 shirts. We were ready. We were in the front row. It was an amazing show. So Chris Bournet, let us know who is performing at the Ohio State Fair this year, because it was like on point last year.
So you and I have that in common. The last time I went to the Mississippi State Fair, the Time was performing. But Monica goes every year because it's like, they have all the old, acts or whatnot. So she goes every year. But the last time I went, the Time was there. So I get it.
Yeah.
And I grew up loving the fair, by the way. So I'm one of those fair kids. So.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know about the fair. We didn't have fairs in Utah, Alabama. So
what's the next biggest town?
Tuscaloosa. But
they didn't drive over to the Tuscaloosa fair.
But I don't even know if Tuscaloosa had a fair. To be honest, I don't remember a fair. Like my grandfather took me to the World Fair wherever it was. I don't remember where it was. I think it was Tennessee or something like that. And that was a huge deal for me. Just because, anytime my grandfather is a big deal. It wasn't about the World Fair. It was just because he was a truck driver and he often wasn't at home. And whenever he was, I was like his shadow. So it was a special, I'm just super cool to say I went to the World's Fair with my grandfather. All right. Yes. So let's see. Carol Brooks, I'm back in San Fran. It's a rare sunny day around here. And then we got Jay David from the Electrified in the house. Welcome.
How you do, good sir? And thank you for all the good work that y'all doing. Keep doing that good work.
Yes, amazing work. You guys are working it like a job, as Michael Dean would say. And you're one of the few podcasts that I'm actively seeking. Who have you interviewed lately? Because you are doing it. So thank you so much for being here and all the work that you do. All right. So Purple Cat Confetti just started listening to the Morris Day book on Spotify. Don't get me started. So the one thing I need to happen, Morris Day needs to recite his own book. Like no.
I'm definitely not listening to that then.
No, so I was like duh, like that is like, who didn't think that was a good idea? So I'm not very happy about that. And then let's see, I gotta have a nice chat with Bing before he passed as well with Reggie. Oh, okay, Chris. It's a pretty big lineup this year. All right. And Carol Brooks says, saw Sheely in the Time at San Mateo County Fair a few years back. And okay, so for those of you who want to know more about Olivia, and thank you. Let's see. And Purple Cat Colorado has State Fair, my hometown. And we got to give some love, more love to Electrified Podcasts. And we went to the Seattle World's Fair to see the new Space Needle. And we're going to start with our housekeeping because I'm surprised our timekeeper hasn't given us the whip. Okay. So, yes, this is week 31 of What Did Prince Do This Week, every Saturday at noon Eastern Time. And this is a very slow read of Duane Tudahl's Prince Studio Sessions book series through an interactive weekly online book club and Saturday salon, echoing the spirit of the Harlem Renaissance. And we are going week to week, not date to date in the book. One day, some of you will figure this out. So if not, you can just use the schedule. So if you want to go ahead and turn your pages and get to Sunday, July 27th, 1986, that's where we're going to start off today. But if you want to keep up with the reading beforehand, we got a QR code and a bit.ly link. And you do not need the paperback versions, but this is what me and C. Lee have. You got the circle on here because it is the most updated version. But some of you might have the Old Testament, the hardback, and that's totally okay because we'll let you know, or you will hear sometimes when we read additional and the updates, even though we don't read every single word. And then
yeah.
Okay, thank you, Kim, for giving us some grace. And yes,
I'm just gonna say somebody's middle name is Petty. That's all I'm gonna say. Miss Timekeeper.
Yeah. All right. So welcome to Nick's Saturday Love, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Okay. And
when I think about you,
I can't explain after all of this time. I love that song.
That's the jam, ain't it?
Yes. Oh my God. Okay. I know Kim wants us to keep this to the end, but there is a German Rolling Stone coming with the free limited 7-inch of The Guilty One /Stone. This is when you have to reach out to your international brothers and sisters and ask them, please pick me up a copy and send it to you. Okay. All right. Let's keep it moving.
One quick thing.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm starting to believe this is true. Right, I'm with Reggie. He said, "Morris don't like doing work at all." Here, and here's the thing. He has said this since the '80s. Like Morris Day is like, he like everybody ain't got to work that hard, right? So look at him and David Ruffin, right? Some of us don't need to practice. So hey, brother Ray, thank you for putting that in chat. I'm starting to if he wouldn't even read his own book. I am now. I'm a fan. You know what they say? Believe somebody when they tell you who you are. I'm gonna go on and believe more. Read the book. What you want me to read? I wrote it. Ain't that enough? Now you want me to read it?
But you know what would be brilliant though is hearing what I call Ghost Prince in Morris's voice.
Yes,
I would absolutely love to hear that. And then how does he differentiate between his two voices in the book? I mean, I still think he should record it. I mean, it could be like I don't know, maybe he adds a chapter or something. I don't know, but we got to get him to.
No, I'm with you, and I also think that's why when these books are done, I always wish that there are people there who know the real history and know, other than just these hired hands who may edit. By not having people who don't really know all of this to talk him into saying, this could actually drive it even more because people want to hear you.
Yeah. So Andre, we're going to leave your question to the end if we get to it for the salon portion, because we don't want to make Kim mad. And Kim is, and it's not about Kim. Kim is actually representing a lot of folks who don't like the salon before what did Prince do this week. So we're going to keep it moving. And it's really important for you to hype, and you can only do that on mobile, and you only get one hype per day. Like and subscribe. So as Ricky would say, as you come on in, please hit that like button. It will help us with the algorithms. I'm not really trying to blow this channel up. Like, I don't want thousands and thousands, but it would be great to get at least over 600 views. And again, I've said this before, it's not about me. It's not about C. Lee. It's actually about Duane's books. We want to make sure that they keep selling, but more than that, we want Prince's work ethic to be put front and center. And Duane's book is all about Prince's work ethic. And I want people to know that Prince worked hard and it wasn't magic. And so that's the reason why I want you to hype, like, and subscribe, so that, there are a lot of videos on YouTube about Prince. And we go into like a lot of detail about what he does every week. And I think more people should know about that. So that's the reason why. All right. So you're never late, Blade Brown. And it is AJJ 1328. Because I am an introvert, Cynic, and I can't deal with the negative Nellies.
Can I give him a perfect example?
Yes.
So my wife and I were fans of the Houston Comets. I know you have no idea who that is, right? But the Houston Comets was a WNBA team. They won the first 4 championships of the WNBA. So we were there at the beginning of the WNBA. And people talk about they want to grow the WNBA. They wanted to to get big. They want it. And I like, this is like years ago. I remember telling people like, all right, just understand, when you blow the league up, you're going to get all them casual crazy folks. You know what the number one problem with the WNBA is right now? It has blown up to a point where you got all these casual fans who are basically using two players in the league as avatars for their political fights. But that's what comes with. So it's not that none of us want to reach as many people as we can to tell them about the genius of Prince. But what we have noticed, and so we give credit to the D68As, to the Saniques, all of y'all who have these really big, to Brother Dean, but to a lot of people, we want to do the work of teaching and getting people to Prince, but getting hundreds and thousands and millions, we all know what that comes with. I always tell young writers, I tell young artists, I say, understand, it's great being an art until hundreds of thousands of people have a crazy opinion. Yeah. And so we love the regulars, we love the people who come, but maybe y'all haven't noticed, the more views we get, every now and then there are a couple people in the chat, and Prof Duff is not, she loves y'all. She's a good human being. I'm not. I don't mind zapping people. Like, I ain't got no problem sending. We at the Jackson State channel, we call it send them to the gulag. I ain't got no problem sending you to the gulag. I'm like, off with your head. So that's really the issue. Is for some people, it's just about doing the work, because we know the insanity that comes once you cross over and get. You think about it this way. Think about all of the casual Prince fans back in the day that we knew nothing about Prince, and they were just annoying. But to Prof Duff and Brother Dean, and to all of y'all in the chat who do the good work, we thank y'all for that. We'll shut up.
We so appreciate you, and I want to keep this a very positive space. And even with the regulars, sometimes we get into it, but we know that it's out of love. It's not out of maliciousness or whatever people do on the internet these days. So I want to remind everybody that the estate of Prince Rogers Nelson is not affiliated or associated or connected with the What Did Prince Do This Week book club series. This is an independent endeavor. And our community guidelines, speaking of, we choose to be a community even when we disagree. So it's really important that we choose to be a community even when we disagree. And it's okay for us to disagree. It's not about disagreeing. It's about when people, devolve into being like really nasty and calling people out of their names, which we do not want to do.
Right.
And at the top of the hour, I was in a Times Square, the song kind of mood this morning. It's a really funky track. It's actually something this morning, I was thinking about it, that I'm actually kind of surprised that Eric actually put on Times Square. I mean, because I'm sure Prince gave him way more songs for him to choose from, and for him to have chosen this song, I think sort of speaks to how funky Eric is. And so this tune is composed by Eric Leeds and Prince, with Eric on tenor and baritone sax and flute, and Prince on synthesizers, piano, bass, drum, and percussion programming, mixed by James Barba. And yes. And let's see, we are episode number 183, and this is week 31 of 1986. We are way past half of 1986. It's actually going by pretty fast. And this week, Prince did one live concert, a really important concert. Can somebody put in the chat, what is the concert that Prince did this week in 1986? Because it's really important. And hopefully, while someone types that in the chat, Prince also did one studio session and also did one new song this week, which I know some people love. So I'm curious, who did the reading this week? Does anybody know what the important live show? There we go. Carol Brooks knows what's going on. All right. And then D68A hit it on the nail. It was Prince's first Madison Square Garden show, his first Madison Square Garden show. So it's really, really important. And then who knows about what is the song? I don't know if this song is controversial. We're going to find out very soon. Like, do we know what song Prince did this week? Okay. I've given you guys enough time. I don't want the timekeeper to come out at me. Oh, okay. Kara got that again. Love that. Adonis and Bathsheba. All right. So on Sunday, we got tracking, horn overdubs, and mixes of Adonis and Bathsheba, as well as instrumental of that song. We got more horn overdubs of The Ball and mixing, and a possible mix of Joy and Repetition. On Wednesday, this was so important to me in real time. The release of the extended version of Another Lover Hole in Your Head. We're going to talk about it when we get to it because I got words. And then we are transitioning over to August now. And the Madison Square Garden show was on Saturday, August 2nd at 1986. And I love Carol. Carol is representing, letting everybody know that I do my reading, y'all. Do you do your reading? Because Carol does her reading.
That's right.
I appreciate you reading, Carol, because that's what it's all about. We got to keep reading alive, Celie. Can you believe that we got to keep reading alive? I am a bibliophile. I love to read, and I can't believe we are where we are in the world right now. But that's okay. That's a whole nother conversation. So, Celie, do you want to read about Adonis and Bathsheba? It is on page 447.
I sure do. Sunday, July 27, 1986. Adonis and Bathsheba. Tracking, horn, overdubs, mix. Adonis and Bathsheba. Instrumental. Probable mix. The Ball. Horn, overdubs, mix. Joy and Repetition. Probable mix. Galpin Blvd, home studio, Chanhassen, Minnesota. Unknown time, into the next day. Producer Prince, artist Prince and the Revolution. Engineer Susan Rogers, assistant Todd Herman. Want the Susan Rogers quote?
Nope.
All right. Considering the depth and scope of Prince's catalog, it is not surprising how many incredible pieces of music he created, and the excitement of giving birth was often shared with those around him, especially people like Susan Rogers, who sat next to him for hundreds of sessions. Quote, I don't think this is the best. It's going to be great when the fans get to hear it. This is fantastic. I love this song. I always felt that way no matter how exhausted I was when he had two magic words, fresh tape, end quote. No, fresh tape. It meant we were going to keep going. It might be after 24 or 48 hours or even more, he'd say fresh tape. And I was always excited because it meant another song, end of quote. That's Susan Rogers. As usual, Prince began with the drums and added a variety of other instruments, including guitar, bass, and samples of harp and triangle. Triangle, that's an instrument you don't hear a lot. Way to represent the college, high school band, Prince. And triangle from his Fairlight. But for the first time, Rogers' face showed that the song didn't connect with her. Quote, this is Susan Rogers again, there was just something funny about it, and I thought the lyrics were kind of corny. Adonis and Bathsheba in a garden of love, and at one point, he was overdubbing this harp, just this little bling, and I started to laugh. I just thought it was funny, and I seemed to remember that he gave me a dirty look or said something kind of snarky about it, but I couldn't help it. I thought it was funny, end of quote. Prince's defense of the song continued when Matt Bliston and Eric Leeds were called in to add tenor sax, flute, trumpet, and flugelhorn. Quote, I remember at the time Prince telling me he thought it was one of the best lyrics he had written, recalled Leeds. He continues, quote, usually if he thinks it's the best lyrics he ever wrote, that'll give you a clue that it's not the best Prince song, end of quote. Love Eric Leeds, boy. You got to love some Eric Leeds. I
cannot wait, Celie, for that book. I am on my like pins and needles. Can't wait.
You know what? You like the person who sips the tea for real. Like, oh, this is gonna be interesting.
Oh my God! I mean, but also because he kept a journal.
Yes.
And he was meticulous about. We gonna learn something new.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt.
Oh yeah.
So with the gift of time's effect on her perspective, Rogers understands her initial problem with Adonis and Bathsheba. Quote, I realize now with today's ears exactly what I was hearing. There's a conflict between the rhythm and the melody line. Yep. They bump up against each other. There's a kind of 3/4 feel to one part of it and a 4/4 feel to the other part of it, and it just doesn't gel. It just feels like a cart with a wobbly wheel to me. And again, I thought the lyrics were just a little silly. In the quote, since Leeds and Bliss were adding their horns to Adonis and Bathsheba, Prince asked them to contribute to the ball as well. According to Eric, he was so fond of the track. Quote, I actually think the track was a little better than the remake that became I Know. It was definitely funkier. But I love I Know, by the way. I don't know why. Maybe it was because it was just a little fresher to me, end quote. After the horn parts were completed at 3 a.m., Prince and Rogers spent the rest of the session working on mixes for the two songs, including an instrumental take of Adonis and Bathsheba. It's likely that he worked on a mix for Joy and Repetition as well. Status: Adonis and Bathsheba, 5 minutes and 25 seconds, remained in the vault during Prince's life, although it was considered for a spot on the unreleased Crystal Ball 2 set in 2000. The song wasn't included on any configuration of Crystal Ball or Sign of the Times, but Prince published the lyrics in the only issue of his 10,000 magazine. Well, we need to talk about that magazine one day, which was sold exclusively at the MPG stores. Adonis and Bathsheba was included on the Sign of the Times Super Deluxe edition in 2020. I will say this about Adonis and Bathsheba. Two things about Adonis and Bathsheba. It's not a song that I crave to hear, but since it's on my playlist, I never skip it. Mm-hmm. And what I add to Susan Rogers, and this, I'm not as musically inclined as most of you guys. I get what she's saying. This may not be the right terminology, but musically it feels kind of like a waltz, if that makes sense. And so, and shout out to all the guys who had to be escorts for that damn debutante ball that my mama made me escort that girl. That I broke up with that girl and my mama still made me escort her anyway. I had to escort her with a broken heart, but that's a whole nother question. I'm sorry. It definitely wasn't no Adonis and Bathsheba and that going on. So I like to say that. So I like that it is a kind of waltzy like feel, but for whatever reason, I always kind of slide into it. Is that a phrase? You know, like you slide into something. Yeah. And you know me, the lyric person. It's not his best spiritual lyrics, but I like the fact that it's an example of Prince using sexual ecstasy for spiritual enlightenment, if that makes sense. And so those are my two things that I really like about Adonis and Bathsheba, is the waltzy kind of feel and the spiritual, the double entendre of sexual and spiritual. I'll shut up.
So I'm curious, like I know one person put on there, oh, I'm so happy, Reggie, that you're listening to The Day Way, or One Day on the Highway. That song came on and I hit repeat, couldn't stop listening. I thought I read something, but that day I didn't care for it much. But Pete does that to you. And this is about the Purple Rain shows. Instead of Madison Square Garden, Prince went to the Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale. And D6AA says there exists demo artwork for Adonis and Bathsheba single, wasn't planned for release. Okay. So Christina is saying, I like the music, the horns of Adonis. I don't really listen to the lyrics. And so we're also talking about I Know and the Ball at the same time. There are a couple of very funky stripped down takes before the final I Know out there that are fire. Yeah, there are a lot of, I had the opportunity to hear some of the stripped down versions of some of the other Love Sexy songs. One of the ones that really stand out to me is Positivity, like stripped down. It really changes the feel. Like instrumentation can change, and one thing can actually make or break a song. Like too much cowbell or something like that. You
Right,
just never
right.
know what it is, but for sure. All right. Elder Bar is back. Swap the brush for the book. I love that. And Rockabosh is saying, in the words of Bart Scott, formerly of the New York Jets, I can't wait.
Let me do it for you. Hey, Rocket Boss, because I was there in the moment when he said it. Can't wait. That's how he said it. You got. And there's a story. There's a story behind that, because he was playing for a team that everybody was saying they were sorry and weren't gonna make it to the playoffs and was gonna lose their first game in the playoffs. So when they won that first playoff game, he ran to. And the guy said, I just talked to know about Wendy. He said, "We'll see you next week. Can't wait." So, yeah, go look up Bart Scott. Can't wait, and you'll understand. That's how we all are waiting on the Eric. We'll make a meme out of that and put the Eric Lee's book in front of Bart. Yeah, thank you for that, Rocket Boss.
Well, that's big for sure. I can't wait. I'm counting the days, the hours, the seconds, the milliseconds. I can't wait for this book. Can't wait.
Yeah. And go ahead.
I was just going to say, but go ahead, because this is about Adonis and Bathsheba.
I was just going to say, well, the same thing. Yes, Cynic 22, definitely. I think that you get that kind of lyrical feel from Adonis and Bathsheba. Yeah, good pickup. Thanks. Go ahead.
All right. So Rockabosh is saying, I never paid attention to the lyrics, and me neither, because it's sometimes hard to make out the words against the melodious arrangement of the music.
And sometimes those bootlegs be really gargled.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And then Groomit 71 says, love the cloud guitar solo on Adonis.
Thank you for that.
Yes. And Andre Staley is saying, I think Adonis and Bathsheba could have fit on Graffiti Bridge. I agree with that. Yeah. Or it could have been the B-side of Thieves in the Temple. Yeah.
What was the B-side of Thieves in the Temple?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I thought it was I don't know.
Because I know, because what? Love Left, Right, Love Left, that was for New Power Generation, right? Love to the left of us, love to the right. All right. What was that song? What was the name of Love? It was Love. It ain't Love Left or Right. What's the name of that song, Chad?
I don't remember. That's what I call it.
Okay, my bad. Okay. And by the way, I actually like that song, by the way.
I do too. So with Thieves in the Temple, it was basically just like house mixes, house dubs, and all of that.
Let me do my one rant for the day.
Okay.
Yeah, that is when I learned I didn't like Junior Vasquez. That is when them damn house mixes started showing up, and they stayed around for like a year and a half. I hated those house mixes. And Poe Junior Vasquez, everywhere I went, he was like, "Oh, I hated him," and it shit wasn't no fault, because he was just doing his job. He's just doing what Prince telling him to do. I hated those house mixes. All right, I'll shut up. Go ahead.
Now, I don't think it's Junior Vasquez. One of the well, first of all, Duke Sorensen's Love Left, Love Right. But I got Love to the Left of the gotta be making up titles. For sure.
That's it. Get Off. It was a B-side called Get Off. That's it.
And let's see what else. And we got, and Morning. Thank you for always being here. See, D6AA going to be a Leeds Family Book Festival coming up this fall. Let's see. Cynic is saying, how did y'all get the bootlegs back in the day for the internet? Training cassette tapes. You would, like at the back of Goldmine magazine, you'd find people, they'd say, do you want to trade? And you would send your list to them, like handwritten or typed out if you could like print it out somewhere. And then you would figure out what you want, they figured out what you want, and then you would trade tapes. Now, I stopped trading tapes when the person ghosted on me and they just took my tapes, and I was like, I'm tired of this. And it only happened once, and I was like, okay, this is what it's like now. I just stopped because that was unfair, because I didn't have any money back then. That's when I was not eating my high school lunches, saving $5 a week in order to get the latest 12-inch or the latest album or whatever. So that's how I did it. What about you, C. Lee?
Same thing. Goldmine was and I hate to say this, but Goldmine was a godsend, right?
Yeah,
Like if it was so. And so I will be honest with you, Goldmine was cool for me because I did both trading, but I also was one of the people who also purchased too. Not gonna mention some of the names. We all know the names, those who know of the CDs and the people. So I would do both trading and purchasing. And also, for those of you who remember Controversy Magazine, if you remember Controversy Magazine, the American representative lived in Chicago, Edwina Brunel. Edwina Brunel had what was called the tape lending library. And so you would send Edwina a blank tape, and she would high-speed record. She had a list, and she would high-speed. So the combination of trading with people on Goldmine, buying from the bootleggers on Goldmine, and Edwina Brunel from Controversy Magazine, her tape lending library, but that it was, and I'm amazed, Prof. Duff, of the stuff we got done without the internet. And I will say, to her point, you could either get where you could risk getting ghosted, or you could go and meet some people in some pretty questionable places. Like buying bootleg was almost like buying crack. Like I ain't even lie to you. Like let me put it this way. I bought some bootlegs from a dude. It wasn't quite an alley, but when I got home, I was questioning my life choices. Now I was happy that I got the stuff, but I really was questioning my life stories. All right, that's it.
That's not true. So I went with my boyfriend, who is now my husband. We would go. I wouldn't go by myself to some local people and do the trading that way, which is actually a bit safer. I mean, it was a different time then.
Right.
I would not do that now.
Right.
And then the other thing is we had record conventions where there would be a lot of bootlegs.
Yes.
The record convention is basically, it would be like in a hotel. And there would be, I don't know, like 100 different record stores or people who sell records from all over the country. And that's when Prince bootlegs were like through the roof. So you could find a lot there. And then there were a lot of local record stores, because I lived in Atlanta, Georgia, that also had bootlegs. I tried not to buy bootlegs. I'd rather trade.
Yes.
But I bought the Black Album because it didn't come out on vinyl. Charade is one of my very, favorite bootlegs. And I probably, I don't know. I didn't buy a lot, but I bought some. So that's how we did it.
Yep.
And Kim wants us to know that this is Salon. And by the way, you gotta blame Sonic. So I will definitely put that later. Okay. Okay.
And I'll say this. I'll say that. Hey, Sister Kim, let me be real clear. I was in college in the early 90s. I danced to a lot of house music on a black college campus. So I know all about jack your body, jack your body, jack. So yeah, I danced to a lot of house music, because if you didn't, you wouldn't get no girls. So shout out to house music. Appreciate it. All right, go ahead.
Yes. But Blake Brown, we're talking about when the internet wasn't available. So like during the 80s, that's kind of how you had to go like analog. So,
and it was funny, I was thinking about this. My first bootleg was the Black Album on cassette in 88. Mm-hmm. But I didn't really start. Then it was a 2-year break for me. And then in 1990 is when trading and everything opened up for me. So that's when I started. So I had one bootleg, which was when everybody got that crappy cassette in 88. And then in 1990, that's when the whole world, that's when I walked in and I went like, no, brother, you taking us down memory lane. And I remember, like you said, a record store, I remember walking in, and Monica and I walked into this place together. And she was as excited as I was. And that's when I knew I got the right woman.
Ah, nice.
Like she just started pulling stuff off the shelf. Like, you need this, you need that. I was like, I am in love. I think I love her.
Well, that's how.
Perfect. Go ahead.
Well, that's how I met my husband. We were at a record convention, and we were both in the Prince bootleg section. So there you go.
There you go.
Simple as that. Because
yes, Kim, shout out to the percolator.
Yes. Okay. All right. I will say this one more thing. One more time. One more thing. We'll keep it moving with what did Prince do this week. So my best friend who has gone on now, he liked, unfortunately, to date young girls, and he wanted me to become friends with his girlfriend, but I found out that this person didn't know who James Brown was. And I was like, no way, Jose. I'm not hanging out with you and your girlfriend because this person doesn't even know who James Brown is. So, nope. All right. Love this. Snick's wifey at Glam Slam. Nice. And this Duke's fun.
It's time for the percolator. It's time for the percolator. It's time for the percolator. It's time for the time for the percolator. All right, there you go.
Okay, let's keep it moving. So, Wednesday, July 30th, 1986, really quickly in Duane's book, it says a 12-inch single of Another Lover Hole in Your Head, 7 minutes and 52 seconds. 7 minutes, 52 seconds was released. It was backed with Girls and Boys. Boo, 5 minutes and 30 seconds. And went to number 63 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 18 on the Billboard Hot Black Singles chart and number 1 in D'Angelo's heart. Now, I was obsessed, and I still have my original vinyl. I had to bring it out because I haven't been bringing my vinyls out recently. And I'm going to go full screen just because, like, this is something I love, I hold dear. The extended version of this was amazing, and I absolutely love that Brown Mark finally gets recognized and got his back cover. And another thing that I loved about the 12-inch is that they always sign their names, and I'm really big on signatures and whatnot. So this was incredible. You know, I call it the put your foot on the rock version.
Yep.
When I first heard this in real time, I mean, my mind was blown. Mm-hmm. And it wouldn't be until Take This Beat, I Don't Mind, that my when he started. So, and then not knowing that, you know, put your foot on the rock was like Sly Stone or someone, like he's referencing, you know, so, but I didn't know that in real time. I thought it was, you know, all Prince, you know, coming up with that. And my mind was absolutely blown. So luckily, my mind was blown by the extended version because I was pissed that there was not a B-side. And you're going to make Girls and Boys of everything a B-side and not an A-side in the States. Right. I know that it was released in Europe as a single, but you're going to put Girls and Boys as a B-side. We're like, we don't get nothing.
Right.
I was heated, C. Lee. I don't know about you.
No, I was with you. So, like you said, you get in the 12-inch, right? I don't even remember. And here's the thing: when I got it, I just assumed there was gonna be another song, so I didn't know till I got home. I was like, "Girls and Boys, what the hell?" Like that was literally when I got home. Because you just by that time you just assume that you getting an extra song. I will say this though about that damn extended version, and I've said this before. So on my playlist, I have the whole album and then all the 12 inches and all that, and then all these songs in it. That's how I usually do it, right? And I've said that for me, one of the greatest segues, one of the greatest transitions on album, Anotherloverholenyohead, Kiss. Right? Kiss, like on album, for me, that's one of the greatest segues. The problem is with the 12-inch, the 12-inch doesn't begin with the guitar. But I love the 12-inch version so much, and I love the 12-inch version of Kiss so much that I have them replaced on the album. So I don't get my segue, which I think is the greatest segue or transition, because I love both of those extended remixes so much. And I think that because there's so much love for the Kiss extended remix, people tend to sleep on the Another Lover Hole in Your Head remix. And I'll say one final thing. My dumb behind thought that the B-side for Another Lover Hole in Your Head was going to be the live version we got from the video.
Now
So that's
that,
why I was really mad then. I was like, we ain't not gonna get that on record.
yeah, that would have been like awesome in real time. Now, thank you so much, Groom at 71. It is Bill Withers, not Sly Stone.
Right.
Put your foot on the rock. I really appreciate it because I knew when I was saying it, I was wrong. So thank you for correcting me. Much appreciated. And then I love this from Rockabosh. We always got to talk about Mojo in Detroit. Used to cut up the drum and strings part up into a separate breakbeat for mixing with other funk records. Hashtag funky memories.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely love that. And let me see.
You know, I found some electrifying Mojo stuff on YouTube, and whoever put it up, like it's not him. It's just like the music that he played. I'm like, no, I'm coming here because I want to hear Mojo. I want to hear. It's just like the I guess whatever the music that but it's not him. I was so mad. So those of you, as Brother Dean was saying, do your Googles. The electrified Mogo was a special cat. All right, that's it.
Mojo. Yes. Let's see. Duke Swan says, I just heard Brown Mark say that Girls and Boys came from a bass line that Prince heard him playing. And I would say something about it, but I'm not. That's why, and Christina said, that's why I didn't buy it in real time. I was looking for a new song. I do have it now. And I love this comment. This cracked me up, LTK. Okay, I got to read it. The Kim Tell-All book is going to be great. Confessions of a Timekeeper, page 234. They always wanted to do a 2-3 hour episode. I got places to be. That's right. That is hilarious.
We're going to have her and Eric Leeds on tour together. Let me tell you about them.
Yes, indeed. So Nick, I see your other question, but I'm going to keep it for the salon portion. It's a good question. And Kim is saying my one and only pet was named Mojo. Now, before we, a couple things. This is a good question. Do iconic local radio DJs exist anymore? That's a really good question.
I would say, even though it's been homogenized, I think that I would say yes, simply because there's still local DJs doing like when they're out doing spots, doing like promo spots, or they'll do like events and stuff. Like we have 2 or 3. We have a really big DJ sister. She does a lot of Jackson State stuff. And then there's another guy who does. So I would say yes. It's just that they're not as likely to go national anymore since everything is so homogenized.
That's a good point. Yep. So going back to the 12-inch, and we talked about this at the I Wonder You 40 symposium, but for those of you who may not have seen that, I think it's really important to point out Laura LaPuma's amazing design. And one of the things I liked about them is that one side was black in terms of the label, and the other side was white in terms of the label. And like this Paisley Park logo in particular, that was designed by Margot Chase, is like one of my absolute favorites. And then the highlighted text of the red. So if you really want to get into design like I do, you need to go and watch Laura LaPuma's interview that I did with her about this era. And you can also watch Michael Dean's as well for even more Laura LaPuma, because she is an incredible designer and one of the nicest people ever. She was like such a joy to interview. So I realized that I never said my piece about Adonis and Bathsheba. I said a little bit. So as everyone should know by now, and Celie definitely knows this, I don't really get to the lyrics. So I don't really care what Prince is singing about until maybe 10, 20, 30, and sometimes never. And so, and for me, it's more like how he's singing it. Like, like the vocal arrangements, like the harmonies, like the melody, but not necessarily the words themselves, unless it's a song like Joy and Repetition. And I think that's one of the songs, and also Thieves in the Temple. It's funny that those 2 songs are on Graffiti Bridge, the album that doesn't get as much love as it should. But when it comes to Adonis Bathsheba, I don't dislike it. I don't love it. Kind of like what you said, Celie. Like, I'm not running around going, oh my God, I gotta listen to Adonis and Bathsheba like I do with Boys Club. I don't understand. Like, I have to listen to Boys Club sometimes because it just pops out of nowhere. Adonis and Bathsheba has never just popped in my head.
Let me go hear some Adonis and Bathsheba right now.
Yeah, I gotta hear it. I gotta hear it. So, and I know it's a beautiful song, but it's something that it just doesn't move me in the way that I know that it should move me. And I can't quite figure it out. Maybe it's a little too syrupy for me, kind of leaning towards, I'm going to say it, Arms of Orion. It's not all the way to Arms of Orion,
right?
But it's pretty syrupy, and I don't know. So yeah, but I like, if it comes on, I'm gonna listen to it,
right?
Like you said, like I don't go like skip versus. Yeah, okay, we won't go there. I don't think Theo's here anymore, so I think I'm okay. So we are going to move on.
But I'm glad you made the connection between the 12-inch of Another Love, a Hole in Your Head and I Wish You Heaven 1, 2, and 3. Because those were both, along with others, I'm glad that it was a yes, so that it was both were mind-blowing moments for me. Right? Like when the extended version of I Wish You Haven't started in, and the think, I was like, what is happening? I was like, what is going on? Like, this is cool. This is so cool. Tell me who. I was like, what is going? Like, so yeah. So I'm glad you made those two connections between those two, because I do think those are two 12 inches that people just don't talk enough about. That I really think that, and I think because both of them kind of came late in the album's promo. Because I'm not sure if I Wish You Heaven was like the last one. Was that the last single for Love Sexy? Or was because
that's a good question.
Alphabet Street and then Glam Slam and then I Wish You Heaven? Is that kind of how it went?
I feel like there's one more.
Okay.
I could be wrong. Because let me look it up real quick, because I should know that about Love Sexy. So it is definitely the last one. So it's just 3.
Yeah.
Yep. So I want to pull up this comment from.
Oh, and there go, you putting that up. I was at Jackson State, and this very pretty girl who knew I liked Prince, and she was like, "Hey, I saw your boy new 12-inch at the radio store that I Wish You Heaven. He'll make a pretty woman." I was like, okay, that's some shade.
All right. So is it Cry Starfish? I'm not comparing Arms of Orion to Adonis and Bathsheba. So what I'm saying is, in terms of, you have genres when it comes to music. You have your funk, your rock, your soul. You also have tempos when it comes to music. It can be fast, it can be slow, it can be mid-tempo. You also have like what Christina talked about, like you can have waltzes or not waltzes or something like that. And then there's also like the vocal delivery, whether Prince is singing his falsetto or if he's in alto or a low baritone, like he has such a vocal range. What I'm saying in terms of, if you had a dial like in your car and you had to group songs together in terms of how they like in design, you say look and feel. I don't know how you would say that in terms of music, but like,
you said it right. Genre.
So it's not the same. So I'm not comparing the two songs, but what I'm saying is that they are more adjacent in genre, those two songs, than let's say Bob George.
Right.
Like you wouldn't put Adonis and Bathsheba as sounding in the same genre as Bob George. So that's what I'm saying. Thank you, LTKK. Yes. In the same wheelhouse. Yep. So that just to be more specific. And then also, I want to remind everyone of our community guidelines. We agree to disagree. And because, yeah. All right. Thank you. Yes, LTKK, on similar ends of the spectrum. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. But I'm not saying they sound the same or anything like that. I want to be very clear about that. Okay. So next we're going to read about Madison Square Garden. Do you mind reading this? It's Saturday, August 2nd. Actually skip the Prince quote. And the reason why I want you to skip the Prince quote, because normally we read all of the Prince quotes, is that D68A has this uploaded on his channel. And I'd much rather you hear Prince say it himself, because you can hear it. It's in the accompanying playlist, than for us to say it, because it's so great to actually have this on record. And we can actually hear it from his own mouth, not like printed. It's like he verbally states this. So,
and just before we get to it, you're going to hear from this is the D68A channel. All right. So,
yes.
Do the reading, then we'll get to that. All right. So, Saturday, August 2nd, 1986. Man, I was 16 years old. I was
15.
And look, you couldn't tell me that Crystal Tracy wasn't the baddest mofo on the planet. I'm just, I'm seeing these things, man. To all the suckers who didn't get it in real time, your life sucks. Let's move on. Community guidelines.
I mean, let's hold on for a hot second. People don't understand how much joy Prince gave a lot of people, a lot of teenagers who were misfits. I was one of them.
Me too.
And it was like, you see us, Prince, and you know how to be creative. You give us something to get out of bed for. It was such an incredible time. I have no idea how to relay what an incredible ride we were on at this time. It was crazy. Every year something different.
Amen.
Go ahead.
All right, so this quote from Wally Safford. He didn't hang out with his band on the tour. He hung out with us, in the quote. Certain venues are stars on their own. The Los Angeles Forum, Red Rocks in Colorado, and the Budokan in Tokyo all have a place in history. But Madison Square Garden earned the nickname the world's most famous arena for a reason. Even the biggest musicians in the world feel the weight of playing at that arena. Selling it out means that you have arrived. Prince would play there 16 times during his career, but the first time was special even to him. During Do Me Baby, Prince told the story from his heart about playing at Madison Square Garden. You want to stop for D68? So now you want to do the reading and then go to him?
Just do the reading.
All right. So in the month since he played a full concert, the show morphed. Gone from tonight's set were The Dance Electric and A Love Bizarre, replaced by Do Me Baby, When Doves Cry, and Pop Life. I was about to say, sucks to see them two go, and then you look, replaced by these. Well, it's hard to see them go, but hey, life could be so nice, a whole lot of shaking going on, and Mountains were brought back out, and Prince performed a rare version of Sometimes It Snows in April during both nights. With only 2 tracks from Purple Rain in the set, he was shining a light on his other songs, and from the reaction of the crowd, he succeeded. Miles Davis, David Bowie, Mick Jagger, and Andy Warhol. Let me say them names again.
Yes.
Miles Davis, David Bowie, Mick Jagger, and Andy Warhol reportedly attended the New York shows. For the non-Prince people, who your favorite artist pulling? Because that's what my favorite artist was pulling. Let's go ahead. Go ahead.
Awesome. So as D68A said earlier today, that this was Prince's very first Madison Square Garden show. He didn't even perform here for Purple Rain, which is actually really crazy to think about. And I have a lot of photos, so I'm going to go through the photos so we can get through them. And I'm going to turn off the comments for now so you can see it better. So this is a ticket from Ticketron. And
go
ahead.
Do you know why he opted not for Madison Square Garden during the Purple Rain tour?
Well, someone put in the chat, and my apologies, please post in the chat who you were, who posted this. They said they thought it might have been that you had to sell out an entire week, which you probably could have done for Purple Rain because of all of the sports that, you know, were being booked at Madison Square Garden. I don't know that to be true, but it sounds like a possibility. That's what someone wrote in the chat.
Okay.
So still here. If you don't, and I popped it on the screen. So if you go back and watch, you can see who said that. Yeah, he played Uniondale instead.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, who knows? I mean, I would imagine, yeah, like hockey games, etc. I would imagine it was already booked, you know, because like those sports things are usually locked in. But I could be wrong. And there's a possibility also that maybe he couldn't do like a multi-day run, you know, like it would be like spot here, spot here, spot here. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, everybody's saying because of sports, essentially.
Right. Okay, good deal.
So, okay, and D6A is saying it was pitched from the ball in 1986. Show tapes, 7 times quarter analog mixed down. Also one tape from the 1986 August 3rd show too. Okay, so this is what the ticket likes. I like Ticketron tickets just because it's so 70s, 80s with like the Ticketron logo. And hold on, sorry about that. And so this is, so the thing about these photos from Madison Square Garden, a lot of them don't have dates on them. So it's either, he played 2 dates, the 2nd and the 3rd. So this could be the 2nd or the 3rd. And if it says photos, question mark, I don't know who the photographer is. And if you do know for sure, let me know. Because I know Ebet Roberts was there for sure. And there was another photographer, but I can't find any IDs for these. So I tried my very best because it's important to ID work. So you can see he has the black and white squares. We know that from the Detroit show. So that's actually part of, I don't know how they're doing that. I guess they're bringing it with them and like laying them down or something like that. And then you can see Wendy here. And again, I don't know if this is from the 2nd or the 3rd because I saw another picture of Wendy that said it was from the 2nd and she was in something else, or maybe she's also doing clothes, you know, changing her clothes, during the set. But I love that she has on what I call the Christopher Tracy. I don't know what you call that. The dip. Right. I don't know what you call it. And then love Lisa. And so we got a picture of Lisa here in the red light. And then one of the most amazing things ever to see Prince do was jumping off of different things, whether it's the stage itself or the speakers. Mm-hmm. So this is one of those. And then during this period, he was doing a lot of jumping up in the air. Just really incredible to see that live and in these photos. That, you know, it makes Prince look like a superhero. Obviously, we know that he paid for this later on in his life, but at the time, this is what he chose to do for us.
Right.
He was doing it for us. And got Celie's suspenders tied.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Look at that's one of my super errors right there. The hair, the tie, the suspenders, the suit. Yeah, he pimp-licious in that one. Go ahead. He pimp-licious in that one.
Yes. And thank you for this, Kim. This makes sense. Probably a rolled linoleum floor. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And then, all right, Rockabosh is saying arguably Prince's sharpest dress tour of the 1980s. Okay. You know, this is a good question. So what I found very interesting about the Purple Rain setup is technically it was the controversy 1999 Purple Rain setup. It's pretty much the same setup. And yes, I was hoping that you would notice that. And I love that Jesse noticed that Yeah, I haven't even showed it yet, but there's some. I'm gonna hold this so I can put it up when I have one, because I actually have a photo so we could see it. Yes, Prince was looking clean. That yellow suit was a statement, and a member of the '86 band itself.
Yes.
Absolutely love that. And it says Purple Cat Confetti have those pics on my automatic photo frame. Love that. And TP Lieber said wasn't when they complained about how much less space they had on stage, but I think that was because of the members.
I was gonna say the extra people.
Yes.
Look at that. That's what we call passive aggressive. I'm just gonna leave it there.
Yes. Yes.
The stage is awful tight. Really, really, with it. That's what it is.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And absolutely love this shot. I think this is an incredible shot. Speaking of the extra people. In the shot and the expression on Prince's face, absolutely adore this photo. So I would love to know who took this shot.
And that melody of songs and that, the AUT-O-Matic, DMSR, the little breakdown, that's like one of my favorite moments from this tour, right? I love that breakdown of music when they go into that and that little dance move they do.
Nice. So I took out the photo because I'm going to show it next week. So I'm going to have to put up Jesse's comment now, but he has on some amazing cufflinks, which are probably from the Purple Rain tour, or it could just be from now. But I love, cufflinks like this. They do cost money. So I love this. So this is a great question. Did anyone in the chat buy a yellow suit in real time?
Not in real time. The closest I got was I had a mustard suit jacket. Mm-hmm. And so I had a mustard suit jacket, and it had, well, you would see, you a designer. What's smaller than pinstripes?
I don't know.
Got a little, so where you can kind of barely see them. Mm-hmm. So the closest I would get, because I wasn't bold enough to do the yellow suit, but I did. It was a mustard jacket with like, I used to, not pinstripe, but anyway, so it was black, and I would wear it with my black pants and my black dress shirt. So that was the closest I got. I never did the full yellow suit though. I could only do mustard.
Okay. And let's see. Reggie is saying my mom almost got me the same suit. And then I think this is actually a really important point to point out. We know this, but a lot of people don't know this, including certain people that I won't name. Prince had different color theme each project. People get so focused on the purple that we tend to forget that. That's actually really, really important. And LTKK says, Google says hairline stripes.
That's it. Okay, hairline. Okay.
Hairline. And Tom says, I have never worn yellow in my life. Okay.
I know you, Tom.
All right, so I got some more photos here. This is one of my favorite gestures, just when Prince is wanting to hear from the audience. I don't know why, but it's one of my favorite things. Absolutely love this photo. It's just, the look on his face is pretty funny. And here are some other shots with, I call it the Kiss outfit. And then he has on the Kiss jacket, also in Under the Chair Moon, and the Mountains outfit, all in one. And this I love. Sheila's on stage, and Prince and Sheila doing some acrobatics. And we also have the Black Cloud. And this is the jacket that Wally gave him. And right now he's still wearing the cross with the white cloud. And this is one of my favorite photos from this night. And you can actually buy this photo if you want to, like the actual real photo from directly from the photographer through the MorrisonHotelGallery.com. They have a lot of celebrity and more specifically musician photos of musicians. And I only learned today that Ebat Roberts is actually a female. I don't know why I thought, and it was this photographer's male, but it's actually a female photographer, which is rare in terms of in this time period during concert shots that would get published. So this is like really incredible, and love the shot. And then we have a couple of shots of Prince going back to the Plaza Hotel. The photos are by Vinny Sufante. They are originally, they were part of Michael Oakes' archives, but if you look up the number, it now says Vinny Sufante. And that's Gilbert and Gilbert Davidson in the front. And you can see Prince in the back. And then you can see Prince signing autographs here. So love these. Now, it was extremely hard really for me to find a review of this show. I couldn't believe it. Like, I searched the New York Times, I searched Star Tribune. I cannot find a review of the show. So I don't know. Someone please help me. If you know something that I don't know, I cannot believe that the New York Times did not review this show. And I cannot believe there was not a review. But the one person who did review it is Nelson George. So you can say whatever you want to say. But he reviewed this really important show for Prince. All right, so I'm going to read it. It's not that long. We've hopefully you'll bear with me because I think it's important because I'm not seeing any reviews. So if you've seen a review, please let me know because I have not. Can't find them. All right. He had a rhythm and blues column in Billboard magazine, and this is from August 23rd, 1986. And this is page 74 if you have your Billboard magazine collection. I never subscribed to Billboard because it was so expensive in real time because it was like weekly. So
it was just me.
No, it was very expensive. I wanted to, but that's when I went to Tower Records and would just read it in the record store because I couldn't afford it. I'd rather buy 12 inches an album. So the thing I want you to notice, the call out says Prince is brilliant in his debut Garden performance. So again, for those of you who have words with Nelson George, you got to give him some credit. Prince is brilliant in his debut Garden performance. Here we go. On the two nights, so he went to both nights. Prince played a sold-out Madison Square Garden, August 2nd and 3rd. The Midtown area surrounding the Garden was saturated with police. 300 on foot, 150 on horse or motorcycle, 6 lieutenants, 4 captains, 2 deputy inspectors, and about 1 sergeant for every 10 officers. The police said the imposing show of force was to discourage the street crime the media linked to rap shows at the Garden. The police presence was as imposing as anything since Prince's last visit. Was it warranted? Some thought so. I think it's fantastic, one young lady told the New York Times. Prince is a real phenomenon. He needs protection like that. Some might have thought the police were there to keep the critics off his back for Under the Cherry Moon. But in his first ever concerts at New York's most prestigious venue, Prince shut up his attackers with a brilliant performance August 2nd and a good one August 3rd. I'm going to say that one more time. Prince shut up his attackers with a brilliant performance August 2nd and a good one on August 3rd. So he was more impressed by Saturday night than he was on Sunday. Opening night, Prince and his expanded Revolution, the reason why the stage was smaller, his expanded Revolution, played 30 songs in 2.5 hours with a groove consciousness matched only by P-Funk, Earth, Wind, and Fire, and The Time in the era of major arena funk. The collapse of the family after Paul Peterson's hasty departure has been a big plus for Prince's stage show, adding 2 horns, a guitarist, and Jerome Benton, plus 2 other male dancers, all intended for the family. has given Prince's show more musical range, more onstage movement, and a deep infusion of R&B richness. With this show slanted toward funk and away from the rigidly arranged rhythms of Purple Rain in 1999, bassist Brown Mark displayed a fluidity and flair he hadn't revealed since replacing Andre Simone. Prince himself was in peak form, moving with the aggressive power of the young James Brown and Jackie Wilson. Even on just a good night, Prince is when you consider voice, agility, and intensity as riveting as any of the R&B icons he emulates. The highlights of both shows were Head from Dirty Mind and Mutiny from the Family album. On both, the grooves were mean and gritty, and Prince and company made the garden seem like a house party. This version of Prince's band needs to be put on screen and not just in a video. Word is that just might happen. His next film would be a musical featuring the members of the Expanded Revolution. Some call it the Counter Revolution, which the Minneapolis crew will begin work on sometime this winter. Currently, Prince and company are in Europe with plans to stop in Japan. Again, this was released on August 23rd, 1986, later in the month. So, one thing I will say that I disagree with about his review is the bit he said about Brown Mark. He basically said that with the show slanted towards funk and away from the rigidly arranged rhythms of Purple Rain in 1999, bassist Brown Mark displayed fluidity and flair he hadn't revealed since replacing Andre Simone. I think that's not true. Brown Mark was playing the darn bass all the time. like you never not heard Brown Mark like shredding on the bass or whatever you use. I know shredding is more for guitar, whatever the that's similar for bass. Like Brown Mark was always like bringing it. And that's like one of the things I love about listening to Purple Rain rehearsals is actually listening to Brown Mark's bass playing. So, I mean, he was really in the pocket. So I'm curious about what your thoughts are.
On Brown Mark or the whole review?
The whole review.
It's a good review. I'm trying to separate my Nelson George before he lost his mind and Nelson George after he lost his mind. Like I'm being honest. I'm struggling because let me be clear. I read Nelson George a lot as a high schooler.
Mm-hmm.
Nelson George, Greg Tate, Doc Neal, Amir Baraka, Columbia Salam, those were all black men writing about music that I wanted to emulate.
Mm-hmm.
So while I have a lot of negative words for Nelson George, I give Nelson George gets a shout out in my Prince book as the people who so I'm parsing my words simply because I do want to remember the Nelson George that was a big champion of Prince that and so to that point, I think thank you, Sneak, Steve Ivory. Thank you. Yes, Steve Ivory. I'm thank you for reminding me of Steve Ivory. So as a Nelson George review talking about Prince, it's a really good review. I agree with you that Brown Mark was Brown Mark from day one.
Yeah.
You weren't going to the Prince shows thinking about where is Andre. Not and that's not a slight against Andre. Brown Mark was his own bass player. So yeah, so I'm with you. I wouldn't agree with that, but I think that overall, Nelson George, this particular show, this is clearly before he lost his mind or was on the precipice of losing his mind. I'll say that.
All right. So I'm going to post this link in the chat that I'm about to share on the screen. And if you don't know about this site, I highly recommend that you do. It's based in the Netherlands. It's called Pop Life. And the one thing I wanted to share is what's great is that this site has a lot of amazing information about the European leg of the Prince tour, but it also has, you know, some memos and things from PRI and production. But the reason why I pulled this up is that it does have the drawing of the Parade tour stage that we talked about earlier. And you can find this. I think it was The Current actually had an interview with Leroy Bennett. And in that interview, they had a lot of these sketches in there. So I'll try to find it. So maybe we can compare and contrast some of the stages. But compared to Prince's other stages, particularly Love Sexy, which is one of his most elaborate, this was one of the most, and between this and the new tour, there were like some very stripped down versions of a Prince set. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I just wanted to share this because someone had asked about that earlier. And I'm curious, like everybody's quiet in the chat, so I guess no one cares about Nelson George's.
I will Boombox Guru. I will say that there were a couple of things. The biggest thing, there were two big things. One, Nelson George was one of the earlier, you know, I don't want to split hairs here. So Nelson George was one of the earliest or earlier supporters of hip hop. So in that vein of him being one of the early supporters of hip hop, he also became one of the louder voices of Prince ain't funky no more, right? If we're just being honest, half of Bob George, Prince's son Bob George, half of Bob George, and probably a third of the Love Sexy tour booklet are responding to Nelson George whole thing of Prince ain't funky no more, Prince lost the funk. And so, but it was really, Nelson George became one of those journalists, one of those black journalists who felt like by the time you got to 86, Prince was out of touch with the streets and he wasn't funky anymore. I disagreed wholeheartedly watching that switch, but it was a, and to be clear, he had every right to his aesthetic notion. My issue with George became later when George basically went on this one-man crusade to say that Prince wasn't funky or Prince wasn't a funk artist. That's where there's a difference between, okay, you think Prince not hitting it hard like you versus, you know, and Doug Swan, that's a really interesting question because at the one time when he's talking about this great show that Prince put on, you also get these other leanings. Round the World in a Day, Parade. He definitely wasn't feeling Love Sexy. So you kind of get, you know, Nelson George would argue that he was being objective. Like Nelson George would say, hey, when I thought Prince was doing well, I said here, like for instance, this show at MSG, when I thought maybe the albums weren't as funky as they should be, which is, Prof. Duff always brings it up, which is why it had to be a great exclamation point when D'Angelo said that Parade was his funkiest album, the Parade, because Parade was that album when a lot of folks like Nelson George jumped off in real time. Now, they kind of come back and forth. You know, Sign of the Times is one of those really interesting things where they kind of all have to give it up for that and then right back to Love Sexy. But clearly, Prince what Prince said was responding to Nelson George. Sneak, could you kind of explain what you mean by that? Because I don't want to respond and not know what you mean, particularly since I'm not the big. Because in real time, I love Dead on It because it said everything to me that I felt about hip hop. So that's why I love Dead on. So I want to know what you're saying specifically because I don't want to respond to you not knowing exactly what you said. I love Dead on It because what Prince said in Dead on It about rap was how I was feeling. The difference between me and Prince goes public with this. Prince says, because I mean, you know how like people like to throw your words in your face, propped up, and a few years later, they said, well, on Dead on It, you said this. And Prince said, well, my mind changed. People's minds changed. So Prince's mind changed about sampling in a way that my mind never changed. So just could you clarify? Because I don't want to take what you say out of context, but I'll just say to this statement, I loved it on it then. I love it now for the music, for what it represents. So yeah, so I loved it. All right, I'll take that down.
Okay, so I did find the it was Housequake that did the interview with Leroy Bennett that has several of the sketches. So let me share it really quickly. Share this to instead. And
why you do that?
Okay.
Brother Sneak, I'll just say they've aged well to me. So let me put it this way. I'm in the minority. I felt that way about hip hop in 1988. I still feel that way today. I admit that I'm in the minority. So to say those criticisms haven't aged well, that's an aesthetic taste. I didn't like it then. I don't like it now. That's my aesthetic taste. Same aesthetic taste. But I get that more people feel the other way. All right, go ahead.
All right, so this is Housequake, and we love Housequake. And so this article was a interview with Leroy Bennett, which is a good one to read. They interviewed him during COVID. And so the first one they show actually is the parade one. And then they also show Sign of the Times here. And then let's see what they got. This is the Love Sexy one. And then, you know, Steve Park had like made it more elaborate with all of the painting and stuff like that. And this is the new tour one. And this is Diamonds and Pearls. And I think that's the last one. And I will put it in the chat in case you want to read it for yourself, because it's a good interview and it's nice to be able to take a better look at these sketches. And I just posted it for you, Andre, housequake.com in the chat.
And to that point, to those of y'all who miss Housequake, y'all missed a good time. That's all I'm going to say, because if I say something else, it's going to get me into knocking another site. I don't want to knock that other site because I really like the founder of that other site. But I really love being on housequake.com, and I hated when it folded and had to go over to that other site, and I could only take that other site for a couple of months. So thank you for pulling up the Housequake. Glad to see that they're still out there doing some stuff. But yep, housequake.com was a great hang.
Yeah, they're still posting stuff. So you can go over there and check that out. And then since I was in Billboard, I thought it would be interesting to look at the charts. And this is, again, from August 23rd, 1986. You can see that Parade is 16 this particular week, and it has been on the Billboard's top Black album for 18 weeks. And last week it was 19, and 2 weeks ago it was 14. So, you know, possibly the single made it go back up the chart, you know, Anotherloverholenyohead, which was really great. And yes, I like this comment, Eldebar, exactly. Leroy Bennett is always one to listen to. No silly agendas, just honest opinion. Yep. And let's see. Oh, you're welcome, Andre. It's so that's another reason. Like sometimes I think people know things, and it's really important that we continue to talk about these sites and the contributors. You know, some people have been doing this for a very long time, and so many people before us have been like putting in the work. So it takes all of us to like keep Prince's name on the lips of the children. So one of the things I thought was interesting, and if Ricky was here, I really wish Ricky was here, he would, you know, shout out that this week Run DMC's Raising Hell is #1. Back to after number 2 is Billy Ocean's Love Zone, and #3 is Anita Baker's Rapture. #4 is Patti LaBelle's Winter and You. Janet Jackson's Control is #5. Houdini's Back in Black is 6. Jeffrey Osborne's Emotional is 7. The SOS Band Sands of Time. Melissa Morgan's Do Me Baby is 9. I'm just gonna say one quick thing. I did not understand why Melissa Morgan's version of Do Me Baby blew up when I feel like Prince's own version didn't really blow up like Melissa's did in real time. Like I'm talking about like when Do Me Baby actually came out versus when her cover came out. And it just annoyed me to no end. In the same way, like when Shaka Khan's I Feel For You came out, how that blew up and like Prince's, like people didn't even know Prince wrote that song in real time. The same with Nothing Compares to You, blah, 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 blah. And to end the top 10, we have El DeBarge's self-titled El DeBarge.
So I will say two things. I think two things. Those two artists both released those as singles and did videos for them. To where Do Me Baby, the DJs was just playing them, right? And even I feel, that the DJs would just play them, but they weren't singles. So those two songs never had a single released by Prince. And they were really big, and the Melissa Morgan was really big on the Quiet Storm, and BET played the heck out of that video. So if you were at home on a Friday night with no date, it was you and Melissa Morgan. And clearly, it was a lot of sad people at home on Friday night with Melissa Morgan.
Indeed. All right. So we are wrapping up our What Did Prince Do This Week portion so we can get into the salon, but we won't be here until 3 like we've been the past couple of days.
3-hour marathon.
No. So far in 1986, there have been 90 studio sessions. We have the asterisks because what we know, and then also if my math is correct, and then 44 new songs as well so far in 1986. And the song for the week again was Adonis and Bathsheba, recorded at Galpin Blvd. So many amazing songs from Galpin Blvd. And then this was Prince's 9th concert of the year, August 2nd, Madison Square Garden. He hadn't performed since the Sheridan, Wyoming show. So, yes. And then, for our music break, for those of you who are in the New York area, Summer Stage and Celebrate Brooklyn are still in full effect. So if you need some live music, make sure you can go see these shows for free, which is really cool that you can still see music for free in New York. And then also, I'm really excited that Harlem Week / Imagination Film Festival will be showing Mr. Nelson on the North Side, The Untold Story of Prince. That is also going to be free. Yes, it's going to be free, and you can see it at Marcus Garvey Park. And I think they're going to have like something else too. Oh, a Soul Train Prince dance party with music spun by DJ King James.
Is it still somewhere where you can buy it online? I've never seen it.
I think you can actually buy it directly, like a one-off on Vimeo.
Okay.
Like they took it down, meaning like you couldn't buy it at one time, but I saw someone say like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago that it's back up where you can actually purchase it. It's a really good, it's really good providing context of just the Minneapolis scene that Prince grew up in. I thought it was very well done. And the last time that I saw it, Spike Moss was here in New York, and they did a screening at the Apollo. And Spike Moss was here, and it was just so incredible to hear him speak about that time, because he's so critical, to Prince and like so many musicians. Like, I don't know if Prince would be Prince or any of the musicians on Minneapolis when Prince was growing up if it wasn't for Spike Moss. Right. And the way like just encouraging the kids, to not just practice, but become professionals. Like they weren't like, go practice. They were like, you need to make sure you really play. Like, don't be like just playing around. So yes.
You know what? That was back when adults could tell kids, boy, that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you tell kids that they stuff suck no more.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so I didn't want to talk about this, but a couple people have already brought this up. So because the reason why I don't want to talk about it, because I have not been following this at all. So I am like illiterate when it comes to what's going on with the Purple Rain Broadway show. But it seems like, thank you, D68A, that Chris Collins is the only remaining cast member. I know that they've switched directors. I don't even know who the new director. So those of you who are in the chat who have been keeping up with this more than I, could you like let us know? And then Andre a long time ago had asked, how does everyone feel about Purple Rain hitting Broadway? Like, I don't even know when it's supposed to be. Like, have they announced a release date?
I know it's 27 and
of August.
I just know it's like 2027.
Oh, 2027. I was like to say,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I know it's 2027. I saw a couple, and it was what got me was I saw I saw a couple of big platforms carrying it, carrying the announcement, and so there we go, spring 27. There we go. Thank you. And so and that they have revamped the entire production crew, but that doesn't tell me what they're doing with the writing. I'm gonna not, I was one of those people who didn't want to see it as it was. I didn't really agree with what they did to it. I didn't agree with the changes. I didn't agree with the reason for the changes. If you go to my newsletter, you can do a quick search and find it. But I don't want to be the wet blanket either, right? You do want people to support Prince. You do want people to get out there and do those things. And so as all these things happen, we're going to be split on certain things. So I encourage those of you who want to see it to go see it. And it would be interesting. But so, I'll leave it at that. But it was just, I'm trying not to be a Debbie Downer. Let's do Don Downer. I'm trying not to be a Don Downer. But this thing is moving forward, and whether you like it or not, it's gonna happen. So,
well, I mean, I think so I'm not a Broadway person. I take my mom to Broadway whenever she comes here, so I have been to Broadway, and I will say that I took my mom to go see MJ, and I was blown away. And everybody should know, and I don't want to get into, I've said this repeatedly, I'm not a Michael Jackson fan. I've never been. And it's not because I'm dissing them or whatever. I come from the school of Prince. Prince took all my time, like all of the proteges, all the bootlegs, all the live shows. I didn't have time for nobody else. So it's not about Prince versus Michael Jackson. It's about Prince and everybody else. So like for a long time, I only listened to Prince and anybody affiliated with Prince. So I missed the whole rivalry because I wasn't there for it. So I didn't really know Michael Jackson's music except for whatever would be on in the car whenever I would be in the car with somebody with the radio on. And again, Cynic, I'm not trying to, like, that's the thing. I'm not trying to sensationalize this because people think that I'm trying to, that's not who I am. I don't sensationalize. That's not how I roll. But I am being truthful, and I hope that I can actually be truthful with my own experience in my own life. Like, that's actually what happened. I don't own any Michael Jackson albums. I could tell you I don't own any Stevie Wonder albums. You want to get on me for that? Because Prince took all my money. So, Prince took all my money, and he still does. So I do have a little bit more discretionary income, but yeah, Prince took all my money. And if you lived in the 80s, when you didn't have no money, and he was putting out a 12-inch, not just his, Madhouse, Jill Jones, like, the family, like, it was like a lot. And so you didn't have time for nobody else. So I say that to say, because I didn't really grow up with Michael Jackson, I grew up with Prince. Seeing MJ really blew me away. And the whole time I was there, the same way when I took my mom to go see Michael, the movie, I kept saying to myself, I wish they would do this for Prince. I wish they would do this for Prince. I wish they would do this for Prince. And what I mean by that is that MJ the musical really focuses on the music. Yes, there's some narrative, but for me, it just shows like it's like such an incredible whoever, I don't even know who's behind MJ, but whoever's behind MJ, whoever wrote MJ for Broadway, it was incredible for a non-MJ fan to be like, I was riveted. Just the way they did it. It was like it could have been about Kenny Rogers. Whoever did that, whoever put that together knew what they were doing. And I was like, I hope to God that someone gives Prince that same reverence, and more specifically, Prince's music, the same reverence. Then this is important because MJ has been going on for a long time, the Broadway show. And it's really, really incredible. Just if you're going to go see a Broadway show, I would recommend that you go see, MJ. So I'm hoping that will happen for Prince with this new incarnation. Because just based on, and again, I wasn't really following but I was at Celebration when they previewed it originally at Celebration. I was there. And one of my concerns was the portrayal in the first preview, specifically of Jerome, and also the portrayal of Morris Day, because my thing is, if you were to sit Jerome or Morris in the room and have they watch this, would they be okay? And I don't think they would have been.
Right.
So I'm glad that there is a new regime. And I hope that it does really well, just as well as MJ's musical, because Prince deserves it. That's all I got to say about that.
And I would say, yeah, thank you for saying that. That I think that was the most important thing for me, and issue for me is what they did with it. If you take those same people who are in the movie and have them watch it, would they be cool with that? And I think that there would have been a couple of people who would have been like, no. Because of those people, we forget the script. The writers went to Morris and said, well, how would you say this? And so Morris had a lot of input on how his character was shaped. In fact, it was, correct me if I'm wrong, it was Morris's idea to say, hey, man, I'm cool with the How's the Family line, but could you give me something else so people don't hate me when I leave the movie? And that's why we get the regret scene where Morris is, around the thing. So I think that in trying to overcorrect for the times, I think the original movie lost a lot of the heart of the original play lost a lot of the heart of the movie because it tried to overcorrect for the times. And I'm hoping this new regime will find the heart of the movie rather than trying to overcorrect for the times. I'll say it that way and shut up.
Yes, but I guess the final word and something I want to stress is I want it to be successful.
Yes.
I want it to be wildly successful so that Prince can continue to get new fans. And it's not just about new fans, it's about the wonderful universe. When you get dropped down into Prince's world, truly, it is life-changing. And I'm hoping that new fans, younger people will be able to experience the incredible musicianship and world building that Prince did over his entire life. He deserves it.
Yes.
So that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay. Speaking of which, I'm extremely excited about the 11th annual Paisley Midwest Party honoring the legacy of Prince. I hate that my HVAC's been down, Sealy, for about 2 months now. I'm trying to get a new HVAC, so I don't have any discretionary funds. Talking about discretionary funds, because I got to go towards my HVAC. So I really hate that I'm missing Eric Leeds and Atlanta Bliss together. This is incredible that Eric Rogers has gotten them together. This is going to be fantastic. So it's going to be in Georgetown, Kentucky. And again, like we talked about last week, he was on the Electric Vibe podcast. So If you want to hear him talk about it with all the details and whatnot, I highly recommend that you watch that. I had it in last week's accompanying playlist. I'll put it back in this week's as well in case you missed it. And we have, I want everyone to know about the upcoming celebration today for Miss O, and it's honoring her life and legacy, and it's actually almost done now. So if you're in the Washington, D.C. area, you might want to race and see if people are coming out to see if you can meet up with some Purple fam. For those of you who met Miss O in real time, you remember her. She was one of the most genuine, most loving, most kind person I've ever met. And it's not because she was a purple person, because she was really purple, like she was purple, deep purple, but because she was just a genuine soul. So we really miss her. She was at Celebration this year. I'm so glad to have seen her there. And she also came to I Wonder You 40 in April. So I got to see her a couple times. I had no idea. So you just never know. So make sure you always be present with whomever you're with, because you never know when it might be your last time. So there's also a GoFundMe honoring the life and legacy of Miss O as well. And I'm going to go through these really quickly. We do this every week. I'm going quickly just because I'm trying to make our 2 o'clock deadline for the timekeeper. But Jackie Thompson is very pivotal to Prince's career. So make sure you donate to her GoFundMe as well as Rich Benson's wife unfortunately passed away very tragically and suddenly. And there's a GoFundMe for Rich Benson's wife. There's also a GoFundMe for Addie Durant, who was critical for the Clubhouse version of Purple Rain. Again, it's still there. You can still listen to it. It was incredible. Every single person who contributed to that is amazing, because it was amazing. And Addie still needs our help. So I hope that you will donate. And again, with all of these people, you can donate $1. If you don't have $1 to donate, send them a kind word. And I'm so grateful that Troy is over his second bout that we know of with cancer. So we want to continue to support Troy. And if you don't want to support his GoFundMe, consider buying some of his amazing art. And, you know, he also has like Le Petit prints. I can't pronounce French. Like calendars and things that you can buy. So you can support him by supporting Le Petit prints. And then Dr. Funkenberry's cancer battle also continues. So we definitely want to continue to send him kind words and donate when we can. Also, Des Dickerson has a GoFundMe, and everyone should know that Des Dickerson was Prince's guitarist. And this is the accompanying playlist. At the top of the list is the Madison Square Garden soundboard version. Thank you, D68A. So if you want to listen to, it's not the full show, but it's pretty darn close. You can go there. And
okay,
then,
I'm having a senior moment.
Yeah.
Did you play the D68A?
No, I was going to play. Oh. No, I wanted them to go to the company playlist, because I wasn't going to play it. I want them to listen to the show. I don't want to like cut it out. And so what I'm saying is, if you go to the company playlist, you go to my YouTube channel at Polished Solid, go all the way to the bottom, you get this accompanying playlist, and you can listen to the entire show, and you can hear Prince say it. And then D68A is saying there's an audience version of the show, but it's very, very quiet and muffled. Thank you so much, Freak Tick. I know it was something when I went live, I was like, something I forgot to put in, and this is what I forgot to put in here, which is Andre Simone has a new funk project coming out this month. And the previous songs, it's like a funk album, so it's got to be funky, right? So we want to support Andre Simone. I've been waiting years for him to put out this funk album, so I'm excited about it. Thank you so much, Christina. Thank you actually for letting me know, because sometimes I go, I don't know if people are even using this, and it does take time to compile these playlists. So thank you. At least I know that you listen to them. I think it's important we talk about Prince, but it's another thing when you listen to Prince. So if you are someone who has not heard the extended version of Another Lover Hole in Your Head, you have not lived. As someone told me, one time I went to my first Evan Ailey show, and I was sitting next to this older Black lady, and she was like, honey, have you seen Evan Ailey? And I was like, no, ma'am. And she was like, honey, you have not lived until you've seen Evan Ailey. So I'm telling you, you have not lived until you heard the extended version of Another Lover Hole in Your Head. And then you can also see the video from the Detroit show that Celie was talking about. And I cannot believe that they did not remember, like that they didn't think of putting the live version of Another Lover Hole in Your Head on the B-side of the extended version, since they didn't want to give us a B-side. And there's so many songs that they could have given us as a B-side, which is a whole nother conversation, but we're not going to go there. And then we have my favorite, Joy and Repetition. You can listen to Adonis and Bathsheba if you haven't listened to it. Again, it was finally released on the Sign Time Super Deluxe. And I've been listening to like the 5 weekends we did. It was a lot of us who broke down the Sign Time Super Deluxe, and we talk about that. So I got to put that in there as well after the show. And this is my Ricky Wyatt playlist because I miss him so. And I don't know. I just really miss Ricky. Yes, that's all I'm going to say about that. And
R.I.P. Pretty Ricky.
R.I.P. Pretty Ricky. And if you can, please donate to the Crons and Colitis Foundation in memory of Ricky. And the bit.ly link is the flesh, because he was all into the flesh and Madhouse and all that. And we are at the end of our show. How are we doing? We got 2 minutes. Oh my God, I got 2 minutes. Oh, thank you so much, Chris Bournet, for letting me know that you also listen. So it gives me encouragement to continue to post them. All right. So do you want to take us out since
Yes.
Mr. Michael Dean's not here with us?
I don't want us to end on a sad note, but I do want to make this point. You know, I always end by saying, tell people you love them that you love them. Hug the people you love, and tell the people you love that you love them. But a lot of y'all know I've talked about, so every August I get to speak to the Jackson State University football team. And so, you know, those young men, I give them the history, and they'll see me around town or whatever. So last spring, I saw one of the young men who retired. He saw me at a Wingstop of all places. And he was really happy to see me, right? And we talked a little bit, and we exchanged information. And, you know, like I normally do, well, Prof. Duff, he had been really heavy on my mind for 3 months because he hadn't hit me up, because we were talking about his future. And he kept saying, this is what I can do. This is what I can do. And it was on my heart and on my spirit to tell him, hey, look, you told me everything that you can do. Tell me what you want to do. For the last 3 months, once a week, his name would just be on my mind, on my spirit. I need to get in touch with the coaches, find this kid, because I really wanted to say that to him. 10 minutes before coming on air, Monica told me it was posted on Facebook that he was killed in a car accident. Mm-hmm. I only tell that story. If it's on your heart to call somebody, call them. If it's on your heart to tell somebody that you love them, tell them that you love them. This life is fleeting. This life is, you are not promised the next second. In my mind, I thought, he's young, he's out there, I'll have every chance. And I don't even know if that call would, I don't know if it would change whether he was in that car. I don't know that. What I do know is, when I say, tell the people you love that you love them, hug the people that you hug, that's why we're here, loving on each other and using Prince's greatest art, all of his work, all of his legacy, to spread joy, peace, and love. So I'm going to say it one more time, and I'm in this way. Tell the people you love that you love them. Hug the people that you love. We'll see y'all next week.